Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Andrew.
And welcome to
Cooking Stage Left,
the show where Andrew teaches me and everyone watching how to make something delicious. So what are we making this episode?
Well, we're making another party favorite, something fun to bring to a party or make for a party. We're going to make a quick nacho cheese sauce, which you'll find it's a very simple recipe, very, very easy. But we're going to start with a bechamel. And a bechamel! Ooh, big cooking word. Yeah. But a bechamel, I think, is so important to know how to make, and so simple, and it's the base of so many amazing, fun, delicious, cool recipes. So we're gonna start with a recipe, and we're gonna, with our bechamel, and we're gonna bring that into a nacho cheese sauce.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Here we go. Curtains up, burners on. Okay, so let's go through our ingredients for our quick nacho cheese sauce. First and foremost, again, we're going to make our bechamel. So that is really simple. It is butter and flour. So butter and flour. That's the start of it. And then milk, we'll make that into a bechamel sauce.
Excellent.
And then we're going to add some sharp cheddar cheese.
Yummy.
And just a basic packaged one. Don't go super fancy buying a super fancy cheese for this.
Okay.
Yeah, just buy something really simple. And then we're going to add just a little bit of spice and herbs. So we're going to add some chili powder.
Ooh, yummy.
And some oregano. Which is actually a lot of Mexican cooking. You don't usually think of it as sort of like a Mexican flavor. Not that I'm authentically Mexican, but I really like putting oregano in things, and then it gives it that little sort of like, you hit it. And then a little bit of salt, and that's basically it. Those are all the simple ingredients. So probably things that you have around the house. So, by the time the episode's over, if you're just going to be like chowing down on some nacho cheese sauce, I get it. And then we'll bring out some tortilla chips when it comes time to taste, but we didn't make those, so. All right, coming up in a moment, we will get cooking.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's get started on cooking our quick nacho cheese sauce.
Excellent.
And again, that's going to start with us making a bechamel. Now, bechamel starts with equal parts of butter and flour. So I'm just going to, since things are going to go quick, I'm just going to dump in for you, and I'll have you stir. So we're putting in 2 tablespoons of butter, and then I will follow that up with 2 tablespoons of flour.
Great.
And again, I'm measuring it all nice, but if you feel like comfortable getting an eyeball version of it, you can do that. This is always sort of a good start, like 2 and 2, like 2 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons. You can go up to like a quarter cup,
Okay.
but always match it.
Okay.
And then you want to sort of just cook that off a little bit.
Okay.
So what we want to do is you want to cook it so that we don't get a floury taste in it.
Gotcha.
So you don't want it to be, so you're cooking the flour down.
Mm-hmm.
So you just want to combine those. Yeah, so just give those a little bit of a stir.
Okay.
Keep stirring.
Great. All right.
And this is one of those things, too, that it will sort of get ugly for a bit. Like, it might seem like it's going to get real gray and gross, and you're like, this is not working, Andrew, you're nuts. But it will. So it'll sort of be like, the butter's melting too quickly and the flour's clumping up or whatever. But just keep stirring. Yeah, there it is. There's a close-up shot of the ugly.
Yeah, the ugly. This is the ugly, right? Okay.
But just keep going.
Okay, just keep stirring.
For this, you want to start on like a medium heat, and then... So the first part you want to do like medium heat, and then once we sort of start to throw our cheese in, we'll take it off the heat.
Okay.
Or go very, very low.
Okay.
So what's happening in the pot there now, Megan?
So it's really starting to, you can see the butter is almost completely melted, but it is really mixing together nicely.
Nice.
So now it's a bit more smooth. It's spread out around the pot, but it's definitely much less sort of flour clumpy and more smooth.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you wanted to go forward and make a roux, which is the base for like gumbo and things like that, you would just burn the crap out of this. You would just keep going and going and going and going and going. And you want it to look like, somebody once told me who had a New Orleans grandma, said you want it to look like a burnt penny or, an old penny for a roux. So we'll do a roux someday, but today we're doing something quick.
Great.
So, and a roux is really crazy because a roux will do the same thing. A roux will sort of like separate and come together and separate and come together and separate and come together. I've done that a couple times, and it is an experience. It is fun.
Okay.
So got that melted down. So you want to cook this at least a minute. I usually go a little longer on that.
Okay.
And we talked about, a bechamel being a start of many things. And so, like, for instance, sometimes I use a bechamel to make like a sausage gravy to pour over biscuits and gravy.
Sure.
So in that case, I would start with also throwing some onions in with the butter and caramelizing the onions and then put the flour in, and it's fine. You can start that way.
Yeah.
But this is magic science that I don't understand. But what this will do, I'm an actor and a cook. I don't say I'm real bright. I'm just, I know it works. I know there's science behind it. I know it's that much. I'm just going to call it magic. So cooking magic. I'm going.
You are very bright, Andrew.
Yeah.
That is that. Yes, you
Thank
are.
you. Thank you, friend.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in with about 1.25 cups of milk.
Okay.
And again, I'm measuring because we're calling this a cooking show, but eventually you'll just sort of be like, I'm just going to put in what I want. So like for this amount that we started with the butter and the flour, you could add probably up to like 2 cups of milk.
Okay.
And you can kind of see it's really smoothed out. It's nice and combined.
It's smoothed out now, and it's a little bit of more of a golden color. That gives me an indication that the flour is cooked a little bit.
Okay.
And now I'm going to begin to pour in some milk for you.
Great.
And we're just going to whisk, whisk, whisk.
Okay.
And again, it's going to go through some stages where it's going to be like, I don't want to be hanging out together. I'm clumping in the corner and all this stuff. Some people will tell you also to start with warm milk for a bechamel. Don't waste your time. Just put in the milk.
Okay. Good.
Because we're putting it into a warm vessel and it will get warm.
It will get warm.
The only thing is it takes a little bit longer
Okay.
than starting with warm milk. But don't get another pot to warm your milk and then put it in.
Unnecessary extra steps.
Exactly. And unnecessary extra pots, all of that. So,
yeah.
So now you're just going to cook that and you'll start to see, you do want to sort of bubble and boil again. The science of it is that it sort of has to cook to come together. Okay. So you might be stirring for a while, and you might be like, this isn't working, Andrew, you're nuts. And it might seem really thin, but then suddenly it's going to be like, and it's going to go thick.
Right.
Yeah. So it's still like you can kind of see them. You can see a little bit of the white of the milk, and then also sort of the golden color of the butter and the flour together. So.
Yep. And again, so we already mentioned that you can make this to make like a sausage gravy. So you would start off with the onions and then do this, and then just add some sausage or bacon in later.
Sure.
This is also the start of how you can make a really great fancy mac and cheese. Yeah. And so once it starts to thicken, and for that I add a lot more milk, but I'll start with like a cup like this. When it thickens, I'll add more milk. When it thickens I'll add more milk. And then at the end, you add a whole bunch of cheese, and you put your pasta in to make your mac and cheese there.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of great recipes that you can make that just have bechamel as the base, and you just cook it up, and you just pour it over some vegetables and broil it, and that makes a really good base.
Nice.
Really good, delicious thing like asparagus or roasted broccoli or something like that.
Excellent.
It's also sort of like a croque monsieur or a croque madame.
Ooh.
Yeah, look how fancy you are already. Look at you making all this stuff.
Yeah, you got this.
Do you even know you could make a croque monsieur? Do it.
Do it. So you can kind of see it's really starting to thicken out more.
It's wanting to thicken there, yeah.
Yeah. It is true. It looks like it's not going to combine, and then it starts to thicken. Yeah.
And this is the point. You'll see fancier cooks do something like this, where they call it coating the back of a spoon. So you sort of like drip a spoon in. It's not quite there yet.
Oh.
But if you coat it and then just like run your finger on it, and if it holds, actually that's where we're at.
Okay.
See how it holds the shape?
Yeah.
That's when they say coating the back of a spoon. That's what that means.
Oh.
You drop your spoon in there, and you if it holds like that, that means we're at the good spot. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never.
All right. So let's turn the heat down.
Okay.
Down to low, or even off for a second. We'll start to sprinkle in some of our cheese.
Turn it into warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just continue to
Stir it.
1.5 cups of cheese.
Great.
Really easy thing again to increase the amount if you're doing big party with. This is going to make a hearty amount for 2 people that are eating in the kitchen when they're doing their cooking show.
Yeah.
Stir.
Great.
And then basically 1/4 teaspoon of all of our sort of add-ins here. So 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay. I did use unsalted butter. So that'll sort of get us there.
Great.
Quarter teaspoon of oregano.
Okay.
Just to add that little bit of sort of that, that tastes fancy.
That tastes nice.
Boom.
Awesome.
And quarter teaspoon of chili powder.
Great.
You can add other fun stuff in this too once you sort of get started. We're just doing the basic cheese sauce, but you could add some chopped jalapeno peppers in here. You could add some chorizo in there, some peppers, all sorts of great stuff. So yeah, so just another moment or two, and now the cheese is going to get in there and be kind of thick and delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And those herbs and that little bit of chili powder sort of going, they're hitting the heat, and they're like, I'm gonna spread my flavor out for you. Yeah. Into the cheese sauce. All right, and you see after about 5 minutes of cooking, you'll see that it's pretty much ready to go. So now it's at the heated stage and it's kind of thick. When it gets to the temperature where we're going to actually want to put this in our mouth, it's actually going to thicken up a little bit more. So what we're going to do next is we're going to turn it off. We're going to spoon it out so it's cool enough to eat, and then we are going to eat it.
Yeah, we are. I'm excited for that part.
Okay, how easy was that? How quick and fast was easy, right? So good. So we've just mastered bechamel. And with that, we have made this beautiful nacho cheese sauce with a little bit of herb and spice in there. Yeah. And you'll see that just coating that chip deliciously. Oh my God, stop talking, get in my mouth.
So good. Look at how it's really nice and thick, and it's staying on the chip really well, and
again, super basic. You can add so many more things to this. You can add the spice. You can bump up the spice to it. You can you can just stir in some salsa in this along with it.
Sure. Yeah. It's so good.
But if you need to do a down and dirty quick snack, boom.
Right.
Simple, fast nacho cheese sauce.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Fantastic.
I mean, it's so simple, but it's so delicious. You know, if you just want to eat cheese sauce with chips for dinner.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. All right. Not much more to say on this one. We just need to eat all these chips right now in this big bowl of cheese sauce.
Oh, yeah.
So
we're definitely doing that.
Once again, I'm Andrew.
I'm Megan.
And this has been
Cooking Stage Left. We're just going to keep eating these.
So cheesy.
So good.
Yeah.
It's good.
We know what we're doing. You're home for the season.